In this video, we're going to talk about radical equations with square root on both sides. So to start off, we have this example on the screen. Now, when you have a radical equation with square root on both sides, the first step you normally take is to square both sides. So before we start, let me rewrite this. I have square root of z minus 6 plus 3 is equal to square root of z plus 9. So if I take the square of both sides, I'll simply be saying square of here and then square of here. So watch how I perform the square of here closely. This becomes square root of z minus 6 plus 3 in the first bracket, and then second bracket becomes square root of z minus 6 plus 3, and then this is equal to, if you notice, the square here can cancel out the square root here directly. In this case, the square here cannot cancel out the square here directly because there's also a plus 3 here. So this part of the equation becomes z plus 9. So if I'm going to simplify the left hand side, I'll be saying square root of z minus 6 times square root of z minus 6. So I'll be having square root of z minus 6 square. So I have square root of z minus 6 times 3. So this is plus 3 times square root of z minus 6. And then for the second part of the first bracket, 3 times square root of z minus 6 is plus 3 square root of z minus 6. Then here we have 3 times 3, which is 9. So this is equal to, our right hand side is z plus 9. So if I'm simplifying this square root cancel out the square. So I have z minus 6. And then from here, I note that 3 square root of z minus 6 plus 3 square root of z minus 6 can add up to each other. Why? Because they have the same radicals. So this is plus 3 plus 3. And since they have the same radicals, I'm bracketing them, multiplying them by their radical, which is z minus 6. Then this is plus 9. So this is equal to z plus 9. So I have z minus 6 plus 3 plus 3, 6 square root of z minus 6 plus 9 is equal to z plus 9. So let me rewrite this here. So this is z minus 6 plus 6 square root of z minus 6 plus 9 is equal to z plus 9. I'm going to be isolating the radical on one side of the equation and moving the numbers and variables to the other side of the equation. This is because I want to simplify this equation further. So for the radical, I have 6 square root of z minus 6 is equal to, for this side, we have z plus 9. And then if you note, z going over to this side is minus z. And then 6 going over to this side is plus 6. And then 9 going over to this side is minus 9. So we have z minus z cancelling out each other. And we have 9 cancelling out minus 9. So I have 6 square root of z minus 6 is equal to 6. So remember, our aim here is to isolate this radical so that we can further simplify it. To do that, I'm going to be dividing both sides by 6. 6. So this is 6 cancelling out 6. And then 6 here is 1. 6 here is 1. So I have square root of z minus 6 is equal to 1. So to further simplify this radical, I still need to take the square of both sides. So the square of this side is equal to the square of this side. From here, the square root cancels out square. So this is z minus 6. And then this is equal to square of 1 is 1. So moving 6 over to the other side, I have z is equal to 1. Moving 6 over to the other side, the negative becomes positive. So this is plus 6, and then this is equal to 7. So z is equal to 7. So the last step when you finish a radical equation is to check the answer inside your equation to make sure that the answer is correct. So I'll be plugging 7 back into this equation. So before I plug out z into this equation, I'll write it out. So the original equation is square root of z minus 6 plus 3. And then this is equal to square root of z plus 9. So I'll be plugging back 7 into this equation. So if I plug 7 back, I'll have 7 minus 6 and then plus 3. So this is equal to square root of 7 plus 9. So if you check here, 7 minus 6 is 1. So I have square root of 1 plus 3. And then this is equal to square root of 7 plus 9 is 16. So square root of 1 is 1 plus 3. This is equal to square root of 16 is 4. 1 plus 3 is 4. So we have 4 is equal to 4. Therefore, our answer is correct. Now let's move on to the next example. For the second example, I would like you to pause the video and try to solve it yourself. Before we start our analysis, I'll write out the question now. So I have square root of s minus 1 is equal to square root of 5s minus 5. So to the first step, like we did before, is to square both sides. So this, I'm taking the square of this side, and I'll be taking the square of this side. So the square roots here cancel out the square, and then the square here cancels out the square root. So I have s minus 1 is equal to 5s minus 5. So this is equal to, I'm moving all the s to one side and all the numbers the other side. So if I have s here plus 5x going over to this side becomes minus 5s. So this is equal to minus 1 going over to this side is minus 5 plus 1. So I have s minus 5s is minus 4s. And then this is equal to minus 5 plus 1. So this is minus 4. So subtracting, dividing both sides by 4, I have minus 4 divided by minus 4. So s is equal to minus 4 cancels out minus 4. Minus 4 divided by minus 4 is 1. So I'll check my answer to see whether it is correct. Writing out my original question, I have square root of s minus 1 is equal to square root of 5s minus 5. So this is equal to, now s from our question is 1. So square root of 1 minus 1 is equal to square root of 5, open bracket, times 1 minus 5. So 1 minus 1 is 0, square root of 0. So this is equal to 5 times 1 is 5 minus 5 is 0. So square root of 0, square root of 0 is equal to 0. So our answer here is correct. So let's quickly take another example. So for our last example, you can still pause the video and try to solve this problem yourself. I'm going to write out the question. So I have a bigger square root of 2 minus the square root of x. Square root of x is inside the bigger square root. And then this is equal to another square root of x. To start off, we take the square of both sides. So if square of this side is equal to the square of this side. So I know that the square of here cancels out the square root. And then the square of here cancels out the square root. So this is 2 minus square root of x. And then this is equal to s. The next step is to isolate the radical so that we can further simplify this equation. So isolating the radical, if I move square root of x over to this side, then x over to this side, I have 2 minus x. If I move minus square root of x over to this side, I have square root of x. So to eliminate this square root, I still need to square both sides. So if I take the square of here, and I take the square of here, I have square cancelling out square root. So x is equal to 2 minus x, 2 minus x. So I've multiplied these two brackets together. So I have x is equal to 2 times 2, we have 4, and then 2 times the second x, we have minus 2x, and then x times 2, we have minus 2x, and then we have x times minus x times minus x, so we have plus x squared. So from here we can add up these things, and then we have x is equal to 4 minus, we have minus 2x minus 2x, so this is minus 4x, and then plus x squared. So we'll be moving this x over to this side. So this is plus x, moving over to this side becomes minus x. So we have 0 is equal to 4 minus 4x minus x plus x squared. We can still rewrite this as saying x squared minus 4x minus x is minus 5x plus 4 is equal to 0. So we have a quadratic equation on our hands. We need to solve this quadratic equation. So if you multiply this part and this part together, you have 4x squared. So you need to find two terms that when you multiply them together should give you 4x squared, but when you add them together should give you minus 5x. Now those two terms is easily 4x minus 4x and minus x. So this equation can be said to be x squared minus 4x. So I'll be placing 5x with these two values, minus x plus 4. This is equal to 0. So factorizing the first two terms, the common term here is x, these first two terms. So open brackets, if you factorize x from x squared, you have x minus, factorize x from minus 4x, you have minus 4. And then factorizing these next two terms. So the common term here is, we factorize minus 1 from here. This is minus 1 from minus x is x. And then minus 1 from plus 4 is minus 4. So after factorizing, your two brackets should be the same for you to know that your factorization is correct. So this is equal to 0. Let me clean up space. So I'll be making this x minus 1. So x minus 1. And then my second brackets, identical brackets, is x minus 4 and x minus 4. So the second bracket here is x minus 4. And this is equal to 0. I can see x minus 1 is equal to 0. And I can also see x minus 4 is equal to 0. So x here, moving minus 1 over to this side, we have is equal to 1. And then we also have x moving minus 4 over to this side is equal to 4. So we've gotten our values of x. X is 1 and x is 4. But before we finish, we need to make sure that the answer is correct. So we need to plug the answers back into this equation to complete our final step of solving this radical equation. So for x equal to 1, so we plug in 1 into this equation. So we have square root of 2 minus, we are plugging in 1 for the value of x immediately. So this is 1, and then this is equal to square root of 1. So I have square root of 2 minus square root of 1 is 1. This is equal to square root of 1. 2 minus 1 is 1. So square root of 1 is equal to square root of 1. This is square root of 1 is 1. So I have 1 is equal to 1. So that means the value of x is equal to 1 is correct. Let's check for the next value of x equal to 4. So for the next value, I'll be saying square root of 2 minus square root of 4. So this is equal to square root of 4. Square root of 2 minus square root of 4 is 2. So this is equal to square root of 4 here is 2. So I have square root of 2 minus 2, which is square root of 0. And then this is equal to 2. So square root of 0 is 0, and this is equal to 2. So that means 4 is something that's considered to be an extraneous solution. So x is equal to 1, while 4 is considered an extraneous solution. So 4 is not the answer to this problem. The answer is simply 1. That's it for this video. If you liked it, leave a thumbs up, share with your friends, subscribe to the channel. It really helps. Thanks for watching again.